Academics, what's the worst group project horror story that ended with total collapse? I had a finance project in my senior year that involved building a real-time predictive model. Let's call the ringleader Mark. Mark was the type who excelled at delegating but not doing. He pitched the idea and promised to handle all the presentation and networking, leaving me to build the entire backend. I spent weeks coding the complex algorithms, integrating multiple data APIs, and stress testing the whole system. My code was a masterpiece of efficiency, but also admittedly a bit of a spaghetti monster if you didn't know its quirks. I had my own naming conventions and skipped extensive commenting to save time. It worked, and it worked well. Mark, meanwhile, designed some flashy slides and practiced his stage presence. During the final presentation, Mark dominated, using phrases like our ingenious model and my strategic vision without once mentioning my name. When the professor asked a highly technical question about the data pipeline, Mark froze. I subtly prompted him, then answered myself, rescuing the moment. We still only received an A-, which felt like a slap in the face for my solo effort. Mark, however, blamed my inefficient coding hours. Listen, he said the next day, puffing out his chest, that A- wasn't what I expected. Your coding hours are getting expensive for our startup. We need to cut costs. I found someone on Fiverr, a junior developer who can maintain the model for a fraction of what you're charging. I just nodded, barely suppressing a smile. Just make sure they understand the dependencies, Mark. It's not a simple copy-paste job, some parts are quite unique. I packed up my laptop, making sure not to provide any detailed documentation beyond what was strictly necessary for the university submission. 48 hours later, I got a frantic call from Mark. The model crashed. We're supposed to demo it to a venture capital firm tomorrow afternoon. The new guy touched one line of code, trying to integrate a minor feature, and the whole thing disintegrated. Oh dear, I said, trying to sound sympathetic. Sounds like those dependencies weren't properly understood. I did warn you. I later heard the demo was a colossal disaster. Cheaper developer panicked and couldn't fix the unholy mess of my uncommented interdependent modules. Mark, exposed as all talk with no technical understanding, had to admit he'd essentially tried to replace the entire engine of their startup with a $10 wrench. The professor found out what happened and docked him heavily for academic dishonesty and gross negligence. My grade, thankfully, was individually adjusted to a solid A. Mark learned the hard way that you truly get what you pay for, especially when it comes to custom, mission-critical code.